you like nonfiction? Do you like memoirs? Do you like books that shock you and make you cry, but also in the end inspire you? Are you looking for a heartbreaking memoir that will change the way you look at life? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then my friends, you've come to the right video. Hey guys, I'm Sankalpita and you're watching BookGeeks India, which is a channel where I make book related videos. If you like books, if you love reading, make sure you subscribe to my channel, like and share my videos, turn that notification on. And guys, please do comment because you know it that I love it when you comment. In this video, I talk to you about heartbreaking memoirs that will definitely shock you and make you cry. But in the end, they will also inspire you to never give up, to pick yourself up and struggle and fight whatever comes your way. Because these are memoirs that are meant to be read, and these are shocking memoirs that have brutal details, some violent details, some disgusting details. But these are real stories which need to be told, which need to be read, and perhaps maybe even need to be made into movies. Now, many of you have been asking me for memoir recommendations, biography recommendations, and I have a couple of biographies that I want to showcase. And I've actually read a number of biographies and a number of memoirs. So I thought, why not segregate them into different sections and categorize them in a way that will make it easy for you to pick them up, that will make it easy for you to decide and choose which biographies or memoirs you want to read. So in this video, I bring to you 7 books that are heartbreaking, shockingly brutal, and also inspiring in the end. These are books that will shock you and will make you cry. And now without further ado, let's get on with the video. Now before I begin this video, I want to tell you that I have read all of these books over a couple of years. It's not that I have read all of them recently. Some of them I picked up in 2013, 2014, 15 and as recent as 2018. So I have read all of them and that is why I can vouch for them. And now without further ado, let's just get on with the video. The first book that I want to show you is this one, Our Moon Has Blood Clots by Rahul Pandita, a memoir of a lost home in Kashmir. Now Rahul was only 14 years old when he was forced to leave his home in Kashmir in Srinagar along with his family. They were Kashmiri Pandits, a Hindu minority in the Muslim majority Kashmir, and at that time in 1990s when there was increasingly agitated cries of Azadi from India, at that time the whole valley was full of militants who wanted to get rid of Kashmiri Pandits, who wanted to kill in the name of ethnic cleansing. Our Moon Has Blood Clots is the shocking story of Kashmir in which hundreds and thousands of Kashmiri Pandits were forced to leave their own country and spend the rest of their life in exile in their own country, and that is one thing that is shocking. They were tortured, they were killed, they were murdered, they were butchered, and they were raped. The government simply refused to act against the atrocities that were committed against them. In this memoir, Rahul has written a deeply personal, brutally honest, and an unforgettable story of history, home, and loss. Now, when the book starts, it talks about the good things that Rahul remembers from his childhood. The way they used to celebrate Shivratri, the way they used to go and attend temples, the way they would get together at festivals and celebrate them. But then as the pages turn, the things that you come across are just shocking. And this is a story that definitely needs to be read by every Indian. The next book that I want to talk to you about is this one, The Autobiography of a Sex Worker by Nalini Jamila. In Nalini Jamila's own words, the life of a sex worker is different from regular housewives in 4 different ways. Number 1, they don't have to cook for a husband. Number 2, they don't have to wash their dirty clothes. Number 3, they don't have to take the permission of their husband to raise their kids as their husbands deem fit. And number 4, they don't have to run after the husband to claim rights to his property. This is a memoir which is fiery, which is candid, which is outspoken, and which is very humorous. And when it was first published in Malayalam, it became all the rage in Kerala. Nalini Jamila, as the name says, takes her name from both Hindu and Muslim traditions. Her name is a combination of both because her life has been an amalgamation of both these cultures. Now, when she was a child, she used to work in clay mines, and later in life, she assumed a lot of roles, that of a wife, that of a mother, that of a social activist, that of a successful businesswoman, and that of a sex worker, all in different stages of her life. This is Nalini Jamila's story told in her own words. It's brutally honest and it tells you the story of a woman and her search for dignity, for empowerment, and for freedom to live life on her own terms. Now, this is a book which I read a long time ago, so I think I would definitely give it a reread because I really want to read it again. It was such a delightful read. It was such a honest read and it told you things that you would never otherwise know. And yeah, you should definitely go and read this book if you are interested in such memoirs. The next book that I want to talk to you about is this one, I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. Now there's a lot of beef going on between India and Pakistan, and some of you might feel that why talk about a Pakistani woman, but this is a book which needs to be read by every Indian. So let's not get into the politics and let's only talk about our love for books, because this channel is about books and that is what we are going to talk about. So this is a book which needs to be read by everyone to understand what happens to a country when you let fundamentalists rule it, when you let terrorism and militants spread throughout it. So Malala Yousafzai is from a part of Pakistan, the Swat Valley of Pakistan, an area which was ruled by Taliban, which was very much controlled by Taliban. Taliban, who are the worst of worst people in the world, they don't care about anything except their disoriented and disillusioned mindsets. So this is the story of a young girl who chose to defy the ban, the blanket ban that Taliban had put on education of young girls. Taliban had ordered everybody to stop sending their girl child to school, and Malala and her father chose to defy this order. The result? She was shot point blank in the head, and there was no way that she could have survived. But God has His own ways, and she survived, which was a miracle. So this book is the powerful story of Malala, a girl who chose education over her life. Her journey from the Swat Valley of Pakistan to the posh corridors of the United Nations is something of a dream, is something which is really commendable. So this is the story of Malala, and she has a lot of pictures here from her life, from her journey, and this is one book that you should definitely read. I think this book was published in 2014. Not very sure, but I read it that same year and I was absolutely stunned by it. I was absolutely inspired. So yeah, if you're looking for such a memoir, then please go and read this one. You will not be disappointed. The next book that I want to talk to you about is this one, Being Reshma by Reshma Qureshi with Tanya Singh. On 19th May 2014, 17-year-old Reshma Qureshi left her home to attend an examination. She was going to write an exam when all of a sudden, so many things happened at once. Some people rushed towards her, they pulled her hair, they grabbed her clothes, and they poured acid on her face. The sensation that Reshma felt was something out of hell. She felt like a living corpse. The acid started eating her skin and aimed for her bones. But Reshma was made of a steely determination. But Reshma was made of a sterner metal. This is the inspiring story of Reshma, who fought her way through everything that life gave her, from the slums of Mumbai to the posh corridors of New York Fashion Week. She has achieved a lot for a girl of her age. She's an acid attack survivor who's currently an author, a vlogger, and a social activist, and also a fashion model. So there are a lot of things that you learn from this book, and one of them is that you should never give up. You should continue struggling, take all the challenges that life throws your way, and one day you will emerge victorious. And this is what Reshma's story is. The book starts with Reshma telling us about her life, telling us about her family, and how she was just so happy in her small little world in the slums of Mumbai. Later, she moves on to the phase where she was attacked, and the aftermath of the attack. She lost all hope. She was so full of despair that she decided to end her life. But life had different plans for her, and Reshma decided that it was futile to give up. And so it happened that life started throwing opportunities her way, and she picked them up. So this is the inspiring story of this young woman who has a lot of life lessons for all of us. The next book that I would recommend to you, I don't have a copy, I read it on my Kindle. It is a book which is again very hauntingly shocking and honest and brutal, but again it is a tale of perseverance, of survival, and of never giving up. So this book is called A River of Darkness by Masaji Ishikawa. Now Masaji Ishikawa is a half Japanese and half Korean who was living in Japan at a time when Koreans, especially half Koreans, were looked down. So there came a time in Masaji's life where his father was influenced by Korean propaganda of a utopian world, and he decided to go back to Korea, to North Korea. Now, Masaji was only 13 years old when his father decided to uproot their entire family from Japan and shift to North Korea. Like I told you, there was a lot of propaganda around North Korea and they were promised a lot of things: a beautiful life, lots of money, a great education for their children. But when they reached there, the reality was entirely different. There was nothing there for them. North Korea was exactly the opposite of what the propaganda said. And when they reached there, they also realized that they were amongst the lowest caste, the lowest order in the society, because they were half Japanese. So this book is the story of Masaji Ishikawa, his life in Japan, his 13 years in Japan, and later the 36 years that he spent in North Korea. The haunting details of his life there and the life of other families that he came across. There are shocking details that you will learn in this book. There are shocking things that you would come across when you read about how North Korea is. Finally guys, the last book that I want to recommend to you is a book that I read in 2019 in I think January or February. This is a book called Among the Reeds by Tammy Botner. I've already spoken a lot of good things about this book in many of my videos, but I think this book deserved a place in this video, so I have included it as well. So I read this book on Kindle, and this is the story of this Jewish family who survived the Holocaust, and the choices that they had to make for their survival was something that will shock you to no end. So unlike the other memoirs, this is a memoir of an entire family which is told from the author's grandmother's point of view. So the author talks to us about her grandmother, her father, and the story of all their relatives, how most of them perished in the Holocaust and a few managed to survive, and how they managed to survive. So it is in the Belgium of 1940s that the author's grandmother Melly lives with her husband Genek and their 3-week-old son. They are living in fear because they know that Jews will soon be wiped off, and as Nazi Germany continues to gain stronghold in Europe, they will soon perish. In order to survive, they will have to make some difficult choices, some shocking choices, which I absolutely cannot imagine somebody doing, because it's just so awful. I can't even comment on that. The thing about this book is that it is written in such a way that the book reads like a fiction story. So the writing style is really good, and I can't tell you enough reasons to go and pick this book up. So that's it from me in this video guys. These are the books that I wanted to talk to you about, that are memoirs that will shock you and make you cry. If you know of a memoir that should have been included in the list, then please let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until the next video, which will be pretty soon. Bye.